Alright YouTube, so this is the Taga Harmony speakers that you have seen before, and I tried to do something with the tweeters because this thing has a complaint of too much ice, and yes, I agree with that. Though this thing has a very good quality woofer with a bigger magnet that can give you a powerful bass, but still you don't get much of a bass because the tweeter noise is too much high. So in a previous video I showed you how to do a cement resistance 3 or 4 ohms. Well, that worked a bit, but then later I increased the resistance to 10 ohms. I used a 10 ohms resistor to this one. This one is already modified and this one is not. This thing has a 10 ohms resistance, and I removed the cement resistor from the tweeter and install a 10 ohms resistance, and this thing has the cement resistors. So I'm gonna show you that now, the difference between them both. Though this thing has the 4 ohms resistance, if it doesn't have the resistance, the tweeter noise will be much more higher. So after installing the 10 ohms resistance, I like the sound very much, and I'm getting very good amount of bass from this speaker, and I'm going to do the same with this thing later, but before that I'm going to show you the difference. Though this thing used a very high quality crossover, I didn't expect that. A bigger circuit I showed you in the what's inside video. That thing has these 2 or 3 coils and capacitors and cement resistance, but still this thing performs very poorly. Many people doesn't like this bookshelf speakers, especially from Taga Harmony, because of that high tweeter noise. So I've connected this to this amplifier and gonna play some songs, and then you can easily identify the difference between this two. This thing is going to give you much more bass and also with the balanced highs, but this thing is going to give you low bass and with the high tweeter noise. So let me turn this on and check the sound. So now they both are working, and now I'm gonna change this to the bass one. Now that one is working. Now that one is working with the 10 ohms resistance. Alright, now check this one with a 3 ohms resistance, not the 10 ohms. This thing is having bass, but the tweeter noise is much more louder than the bass. This thing was having a very good bass with a balanced tweeter noise. If I didn't install the 4 ohm cement resistors, then the highs will be, I think, much more. Alright, let's check some other songs. So that's it. You heard the difference. This thing has more highs, low bass, and that thing has a balanced highs with a good bass. So I'm going to install the 10 ohms resistor in this thing too, and you don't have to worry about the impedance, total impedance, because that's going to stay the same. This thing has a 6 ohms of impedance of the total unit, and that's going to stay the same. Using a resistance to the tweeters doesn't gonna change the total impedance of the speaker, so you don't need to worry about your AV receiver. So that's it. That's a good solution for this Taga Harmony bookshelf speakers. This unit, Azure B40 V2, this thing has that complaint of high tweeter noise. So if you have this thing, you can use a 10 ohms resistors and gonna control the tweeter noise. So that's it. That's all for today. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.